From Super League to Olympic distance to age group world records to Kona. Go longer with the right fuel at the right time with SFuels.
It's Aloha Friday, get your coffee ready. Cause it's breakfast with Bob.
And Poncho Man, everybody. Welcome to our 11th year of Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Huggos on the Rocks. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels Go Longer, HOKA Let's Fly, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Quintanaroo, Zoot, the original triathlon brand, and, of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest coming off of a second place at Ironman Mont Tremblant, Mr. Josh Amberger, joins us. How you doing, Josh?
Yeah, good, thanks, Bob. You've got that intro down pat by now, haven't you?
Don't you think,
Yeah.
man?
Yeah.
I love the stash. You're looking good. Getting married in, 5 weeks?
Yep, something like that.
Yeah, and Ash has had a year for the ages.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that right?
Yep.
Winning both PTO US Open, Canadian Open, everything. So she's not even here.
Yeah, she's winning.
She's seen enough races.
She's winning everything I'm not, so it's good.
Second at Mont Tremblant, and obviously great swim, 48, 427 bike, but most impressive, a bike where you were off the front most of the time and still ran a 252 for 813. Were you happy with that?
Yeah, definitely, Bob. I think that's my best Ironman performance in about 4 years, and I really got out of that race what I was looking for, and just a solid all-round performance. And for an athlete like me, going to what would be considered a smaller Ironman race, I always kind of plan ahead knowing I'm going to be off the front, and with not much company for the whole day. So for me to come out with a rounded performance like that was a big confidence boost, and something I've certainly been looking for a number of years. So I feel like I really kind of enjoyed myself during the COVID years and let myself go a little bit. But now I'm getting myself back to the fitness where I can be competitive, and I think that showed through in Mont Tremblant.
Was it tough during COVID because you don't know if racing's coming back, when it's coming back, and you have a ton of other interests? I'm sure you were like, okay, well, while that's happening, I'll go off and do this other stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I
do some camping, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was, I'm sort of 10 years into my professional career, and it was time for a good wind down, and that was perfect timing for me. And now I'm refreshed and super motivated, and definitely looking forward to pushing the limits in the years ahead.
So at the end of the day, it was probably a good thing, because it's easy. You just go from year to year. Okay, season's over, take a break, get the bike out, start training again, and it can get a little mundane.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Ironman treadmill, we call it. It's like you finish one and you start prepping for another, and because it's such a demanding event, it requires no less than like full dedication. So I just wanted to enjoy myself, and now I'm back. So.
Well, and when we look having the men's race and the women's race on separate days, deeper fields on both sides, and there's a lot of really good swimmers. Do you feel you might have some company?
Yeah, for sure. This year it's going to be really exciting. I think it could potentially be the first year where all the favourites have never even been here before.
Isn't that the coolest?
Yeah.
It's like a lot. It used to be everybody was 31, 32. They'd been here for a number of years. I mean, you're the veteran. You did it 3 times. You're like the old guy.
I wouldn't put myself in that category yet. We'll leave that to the Hoffmans and the TOs. And I've still got some youth in me. So,
yes.
But these young guys. It wasn't long ago that I was there and showing up to this race for the first time, all wide-eyed and super excited. So. It's going to be really fun to see how those guys race and to see where I stack up in that field against them.
So after you have a great race like you had at Mont Tremblant, do you go home and just start refining for Kona and just focus on this?
I haven't been home for 5 to 6 months, but
where you been living?
So I mean, as an Australian, it's really difficult to plan a full season around this race, because it basically, if you want to be at your best for this event, you can't be. I think the mistake I've made in the past is going home too early and getting comfortable at home before this race. So I've kind of kept myself out on the road, out of the suitcase, and I've been based for the last 5 months between Andorra and now Boulder, heading into this race. So yeah.
And the training's been good.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I mean, it's both totally different locations, both at altitude. Andorra is obviously very sort of cycling focused with basically climbs, and that's it. So to adapt to that environment as a triathlete was like really fun, if I'm being honest, and quite interesting. And then Boulder was, just putting the icing on the cake for this race.
So U.S. Open, that was you're in Dallas, and when we talk about heat here, that was some real heat.
Oh man, it was like, yeah,
furnace.
I mean, I've raced races through Asia, like in Korea and Japan and the Philippines, that were, ridiculously hot. But the 2 p.m. start in Dallas was kind of taking it to another level. Some of the guys from the Tokyo Olympics said that the Olympics and all the heat prep and stuff they did for that race had them at no advantage in Dallas at all. So, but I definitely got out of that race what I wanted to. I wanted to first and foremost go there to see Ash compete at her best.
And win.
Yeah, exactly.
$100,000.
Yeah. We'll see if she wants to share that. But,
to add to the other 100, she won at the Canadian Open.
Yeah, exactly. She's going to have to employ
community property, haven't we? Oh, wait, you're not married yet. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah,
you get none
I'm
of
waiting for the prenup to come through, but we'll see. She can employ me as a training partner if my results keep going south. So, but yeah, Ash won. I was 18th, which I was super happy with. I didn't rest at all leading into that race. I pretty much knew I was going to be locked into Ironman pace just because of the short drop down, and the conditions out there really kind of forced that effort anyway. I mean, a lot of the guys that I caught on the run and at the end of the bike just overbiked and went way too hard. So I was really happy with my performance there, and I think it showed me that I was on track for this one.
What I was following during COVID time was some of your camping trips. You're out there, tents on the beach, catching fish, and just sort of back to nature. How fun was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's not something that was exclusive to COVID. I think that kind of holiday and adventure has been keeping Ash and I happy for a long time now. We first packed up the car and went camping when we were super young, like 20 or 21.
Yes.
And I was showing her all the places that I grew up visiting with my parents, and so it's kind of really fun to show her the sorts of things that I enjoy, and she shares my passions for that now, which is really exciting. So she can go for a week without taking a shower pretty easy these days. So yeah.
That took some training.
Oh, not really. She kind of dived into it, which was amazing. Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah. What do you remember about your first time here, your first race here?
I spent a lot of time at the front, and then I spent a lot of time towards the back. So that's the long story short. But, that race, it really sort of opened my eyes to I don't know, basically what Ironman is and what the race is all about and what the spirit of Ironman is all about. And, for 4 hours there, I was sort of on top of the world at the front of the race, not really expecting I was going to it's not like the Chris McCormack story, like bank the check. It was like, just how good's this? And then it went south pretty quick, and it was just all about finishing. And so I think I experienced both sort of aspects of the Ironman with the performance and the spirit that day. And it also reminded me that it is an 8-hour race, and to measure your effort. So
having 4 or 5 good hours doesn't necessarily cut it.
Absolutely not. No. I mean, I got good TV time and stuff.
You got some great TV time. Yeah. Was Jan the first guy to go by?
No, he didn't want to go by. I think he was a bit angry at me that...
He said something to you.
Yeah, I think he expected me to swim for him, but I just went straight off and did my own thing. So.
Oh, so he wasn't very happy that you didn't swim with him, that you went off on your own.
Yeah, so the first person to go by me was actually Braden Curry, and then he got a flat tyre straight away, so I was back on the front and then broke away again, and yeah, it was interesting.
Did you end up getting, that was 16 or you got 12th? What year did you get?
No. My debut, that was 2017.
Okay.
I've never cracked the top 20 here. I've always had, like, shockers, so, yeah.
Why do you think? Just the heat and the run?
Yeah, I mean, I've always just not, respected the distance enough and just really got caught up and got excited in the race. You know, the second year I was here, Cam Worth and Andrew Starkey went past me on the bike, and I'm like, stuff this, I'm riding with them. So I rode at the front of the race with the two best bikers in the sport and blew up at quite high, and then that was it. And then 219, I just wasn't fit. I was kind of kidding myself coming here with the fitness I had. So, I've remembered all those lessons in the preparation for this, and I wanted to make sure coming to the island that I did have the fitness to compete. So, and I think I'm really starting to push the envelope in that area, and I'm here and I'm fit, and like Sebi always says, here either fit or
fucked.
Effed,
yeah, you're fit or fucked. There's a thin line between being fit and fucked.
Yeah, but I think I'm with the former at the moment. So.
Okay. And when you were in that race and Cam goes by and Starkey goes by, you had to make a decision. Do I do what and sort of be a little conservative and maybe have a good run, or do I test myself and see what I can do on the bike with these two guys? You made that decision, but you learned from that, right?
Yeah, you're only young and dumb for a portion of your life, so a bit older now and, perhaps a bit wiser. So it was good fun, though. I mean... Yeah,
right?
Yeah, Cam still talks about it, and, I guess he kind of... he got a lot of respect for me after that day, and, seeing the kind of risks that I took, so, yeah.
And being in a race where... Cam's a professional cyclist, so to be able to stay with that guy is a pretty cool situation to be in.
Yeah, definitely. It was actually really interesting seeing the different dynamic between Cam and Starkey as well. Whenever Starkey was at the front, he was just trying to drop me.
Right.
Because, I guess he didn't think I belonged there. And then when Cam was at the front, he was almost kind of like looking after me and making sure the pace was nice and even. And that's his job in bike racing.
Right.
He's a domestique and he just sits at the front all day and he's hard as nails. Maybe there was a little Aussie bond there that day too.
Yeah. How have you changed as an athlete over this last few years?
I think that I've just learned to measure my expectations more and sort of like fit into races as they're happening. I've learned to adapt to different race plans as they're happening, and I've kind of let go of all the ego that I had as a younger athlete, just trying to stay at the front as long as I could. It never really yielded the results that I was after. So, for this race, I'm just going to be kind of watching and making sure I make it through the 8 hours on the limit, rather than finding the limit at 4, 5, or 6 hours.
Since 2019. The sport has changed tremendously. The people are riding a lot faster, they're running faster. How tough has it been to adapt to that? Because the ante has been up. When you see people at St. George with 7,000 feet of climbing, going multiple people under 8 hours, and the winner, under 750, it's a different sport.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and this is happening across the elite sporting world, from cycling to tennis and swimming. Just these young guys coming out on a whole other level. And for a long time it was me as a young guy trying to adapt to the level that the older guys set, and now I'm kind of in the middle and I'm trying to adapt to the level the younger guys are setting. So I think the younger guys are bringing they're bringing so much vigor to the sport and excitement, and it's just I think for this race on Saturday next week, it's just going to be really exciting to see where they take the sport, what kind of level they're going to push it to.
Do you go into a race like this thinking, okay, I'd be happy with top 10, I'd be happy with top 5, I'd be happy to finish? How do you look at this?
Yeah, I mean, like, top 10 has been a goal since my first race here, and I still haven't achieved that, so that's still there. I think rather than putting the cart before the horse, it's more about me executing like a measured race and not blowing up. And then I think that kind of result will that it'll just happen. So for me, it's just about racing smart and sensible and not making the mistakes I've done here before.
Was Mont Tremblant your most complete race, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. And Collin Chartier won it, and he won the US Open. So
yes, he's on fire right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that shows me that the level I competed there was like a good, honest level. And
right.
Yeah, definitely. Took a lot of confidence from that race before this one.
What got you, like you said, you struggled for a while trying to figure out, what am I going to be doing here? And during the COVID times, and when you couldn't leave, and it's hard to be motivated.
Yeah.
What got you back? Because obviously you're racing better than ever now. When you have a race like Mont Tremblant.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a professional triathlete. It's kind of all I've ever known, and it's what gets me out of bed in the morning. Ever since I left school, I've been on the treadmill, competing, racing, getting fit,
right,
getting ready for next year. Thinking of ideas for the next season. So that's me right now, and kind of like a lot of people ask me if I've got any idea what I'm going to do at the end of triathlon, and to be honest, I have no idea, because I'm more or less so focused on what I'm doing. I can't do two things at once, and right now this is what I'm dedicated to, and still have a passion to find out where my own limits are in the sport, and yeah.
You certainly have come nowhere near those limits yet. You feel that, right? You can be a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. I know my training this year, I've definitely taken it to another level, and kind of waiting for that race.
What have you done differently this year? Like you said, your training's gone to another level because...
I don't know, just like watching the sport and watching everyone, seeing what they're doing, being smarter about my own training, trying to adapt to the level. I think having Ashleigh now, more or less on the same schedule as me has kind of been a dream for a long time. She's been racing ITU, and we've just been conflicting training, conflicting travel, races, everything. So just having kind of her on the same plane now and really enjoying what she's doing, and I think we've worked really well at a team, and it's helped us find a shared enjoyment for what we're doing.
It's interesting. I was talking to somebody the other day, talking about how, I think it was Daniela Reeve, saying that back in the day she trained in Australia with Ashleigh, and in 2012 she was 40th in the Olympics, and Flora Duffy was 45th, and you come 10 years later and they are training with Ashleigh. Has Ashleigh been reinvigorated by all of a sudden, leave the WTS because, you get to a certain point where you want to do your own thing, and having immediate success like she's had. First time out, she went to Clash Miami and dominated, and then she really hasn't lost anything since. Yeah,
totally. Came at a bit of a shock to me in 2019. She had coaching issues, and she told me that for a long time. She told me at the end of the year in 2019 that for a long time during the year she was thinking about quitting, and it was just a massive shock that she never even shared that with me. She didn't have a good Olympics experience. She hasn't had enjoyment in triathlon for some years, and but she was so committed to seeing the Olympic cycle through. Right. She's very stubborn in her goals and what she wants to achieve, and there was no way that she was kind of going to abandon the Olympic dream. So now that she's done that, and now she's found a niche in the middle distance, and she said to me a couple of weeks ago when she was leaving Dallas that she's she thanked me for taking her on the trip. We spent 5 months abroad together, and she said that she's never been happier in triathlon, from the racing, the results, but she's also managed to make a lot of friends in the sport, which when she was racing ITU racing, she was always kind of by herself, didn't really click with many of the other athletes, and she's just found enjoyment in sort of every aspect of the sport, and it just brought me a lot of happiness to hear that.
That's cool. And I think that when we see that with the whole WTS and the ITU type of racing, it's not the best person isn't necessarily winning the race. It's the best tactician, because you sort of have to sit in and all that stuff. In our world, the best person normally is going to win the race. You can be friends with people and you can train with people, and then on race day you can go out and try to kick their butt.
Yeah, 100%. I think that generally as a professional, what we experience in what we're doing is much more relaxed as well.
Yes.
From pre-race, post-race, a lot of people are training partners, and it's a really good vibe in the sport right now, and it's certainly an exciting time to still be a professional triathlete.
Josh, it's always such a treat to get to chat with you. Love having you back here on the Big Island. And top 10. Let's do top 10.
Yeah, I like that, Bob. Thanks.
I like it. Poncho Man,
Thanks.
take us out. Round of applause for Josh Amberger.
It's Aloha Friday, right here in Kona Town, Aloha. Cause it's breakfast with Bob.
And Poncho Man, everybody.